Welcome to Secure Management Faculties, where your mind is key before you unlock what is seen. Secure Agent Dreyfuse. Usual standard below, sell your guns tab. If you have any additional firearms that you don't need and you want to make some extra currency, look below in the description, follow the prompts, sell that gun, get that extra currency. SecureManagementFaculties.com. If you want to make contact with me, follow the link. Establish contact next to my image. Send me a message, I'll respond promptly. Let's jump into the topic. We're talking about the social patchwork. The individuals that consistently respond off of the fact that you've already said things multiple times, you've already done things multiple times, and you've already brought the proof multiple times, and they consistently try to out-silent for the improvement and or try to push forward after that out silence, right? Which is not really engaging the problem in the first place, and essentially try to improve in the condition that you've already said something multiple times about it and they won't come clean. You see, these individuals in social patchwork, once you've already laid out the facts about what it is that you've already discovered, instead of actually making an optimal improvement for the lesson, they make the optimal improvement to be silent and still do the same type of tactics. So I'm going to put this down so you can understand that whether professionally or people personally around you, what they do is they adopt the improving tactic just to do the same tactic, right? Because substantially there are certain things that are missing through specific situations and contexts, maybe, right? It could be a complete lineup of situational information and context towards an event that you were not present for. And therefore, when you come back to overlay of understanding or observation of such set events, they make the assumption that that those things cannot be put together, or let's just say, to be readily more correct, there may be a proper assuming that something is missing with the basic information that is lined up in that such said event if you were not present for it. That's just simplistic obviousness. If someone is there or if someone is not there, you can be led to make certain observational assumptions during certain conditions of a situation. But let's continue on, and let's not get too caught up in the investigative or position of information if you're present or not. What I'm getting at is that these people play a social patchwork in the condition of trying to redivert your attention back to an ending phase of whatever it is that you have already discovered, to redivert it within yourself, to also take the spoils, if you will, from the ending proportions of what it is that's actually going on, and only still try to continuously silently improve themselves by changing their outward exposure of information and what they believe to be the stimuli, to the point to be the reactions that you have responded to based off of choice intensified emotional output. This is key to understand. So, to make a quick example, right, in these silent professional personal battles, what these people will really do, if you've already hit an emotional event that you chose, because they really have a hard time separating intentional choice of emotional discharge or an intense form of, you can even say, passionate expression to an ideal or actual problem. They assume that that is a gold chest of a response mechanism that is put in place for a categorization of learning for them to improve their same tactics that they were doing, to try to ever so slightly keep it covered up and still do the same thing. It can come in the forms of trying to improve their basic etiquettes and hellos and goodbyes, and then rediverting the ending conversation to, oh, that was just nothing but a joke, or oh, that was just fine. I was just not even thinking of that. And or, yeah, maybe you should just take it easy. You're overthinking it. These social patchworks are ending exits. They're like a groundhog, if you will, right? It's like as if they were running on the top surface as a tiger. Imagine a tiger running across the field, and it's immensely seen in the background that's definitely not conducive to his camouflage. And then they slowly morph into this groundhog and disappear underground. Just imagine that analogy in your mind to as that patchwork, right? They were completely obvious in all the actions that they were doing, and then they're trying to improve their intro and outro effects of their conversations and what they believe to be the information that they got from the so-called intense expression of engagement that you've made the choice for intentionally to outburst and put, let's just say, outwardly and openly to be an expression of saying, hey, I see what's going on. I see these tactics and I see what's being done. They don't make the improvements for themselves and for the better of the good. They make the improvements to do the same tactics, right? And so these same things could come back in simplistic things like, okay, the same alterations are taking place, but are taking place to a point where it can be easily or seemingly easily done to the point where there's really no subtraction, or let's just say there's no analyzation that they believe that it could be done. If you had things or elements of information that suggest that these things are being done, but they are just being silent about it, when it's continuously being done, it's already the same evidence subjectively to objectively in the bag, depending on how much information of it was being exposed. But in conclusion of what I'm saying is, watch out for these social patchworkers that try to blade their intros and their outros of conversational etiquettes, but still do the same debilitating tactics that are still obvious, and most likely they don't even pay attention to how sloppy they really were from the context of the start, and they got a subjective idea about the stimuli and information that was being output based off of a conversation because they assumed it was the most loudest part, when really they were already being spotted in the ground as that groundhog and not running across the field as a tiger. Again, secure management faculties, where your mind is key before you unlock what is seen. Secure Agent Dreyfuse. Again, if you need to make contact with me, go to securemanagementfaculties.com. The website is below. Sell your guns tab, make that extra currency. I appreciate all who observed to listen to social patchwork. I had a little bit more of the analogy in this expression, but hopefully you could have understood when I was talking about these social patchworkers. Remember, in conclusion and summary, what these social patchworkers do is that they try to improve their intros and outros, but the action in between is still the same. It subjectively gets covered with, like I said, entering and exiting, and this can come as good productive etiquettes and good productive outward etiquettes. That means coming and going, but the actions in between is the same, and they try to silence themselves because they know substantially that either 80 or 90% of what they do or say is going to lead them into a trail phase of being essentially discovered for their dark, intentional tactics. But the thing is still the same. Don't get bought out by extra essential things that may be covering. They use gift tactics and things like this as well. See things for what they are, and also understand that the point is, at the end of the day, no matter how silent or intro or outro their nice covering or icing on the cake may be, what you need to understand is the actual act of action that is in between. All right, thank you for the observe to listen. Once again, Dreyfus out here to see you on the next upload.